Hello, all of you. Past several weeks, we've been talking about how our mind plays tricks on us and how we as marketers often use the consumer's mind to influence their purchase behavior. So, what we're going to talk about today is persuasion. When was the last time you felt bamboozled by a salesperson? Or maybe even someone who convinced you to go to a particular movie or to buy something that you weren't maybe interested in buying when you showed up. There are so many different ways that we are persuaded as people, and much of the persuasion comes from just like the other topics we've been talking about inputs that come to us from all kinds of external sources. So today we're going to talk a little bit about persuasion. So what exactly is it? You've learned over the past several weeks that our mind is sort of a crazy organ. It tells us to do a lot of different things that are subconscious to us. Sometimes we make decisions that are based on systematic decisions, or we put a lot of thought and analytics into what we do. Other times we have unconscious decisions that are just things that we've habitually or naturally have done over and over again. So, what persuasion is a tool that people or marketers or companies will use to strike the things that we know about you, particularly emotional, belief systems, opinions, your past behavior, to influence what you're going to do right now. So, why do we do this? Because it works. It has been proven over and over through studies that persuasion motivates people to change. Have you ever changed your behavior, maybe the way you make a meal or the way that you do some sort of studying behavior? Sometimes it takes a nudge to get us to be motivated to do something else. It moves us from our status quo or inertia, the way that we always do things. And one of the things that persuasion allows salespeople to do is to have a series of tools and tactics that they can use and become very good and skilled at. So that's what it's all about. You've all been reading the book Influence by Cialdini, and this particular book does a really great job at honing in on the key elements of persuasion. And there's 6 of them that we are going to talk about today: reciprocity, commitment, pack mentality, authority, liking, and scarcity. So I'm going to go through each one of those and give you some examples. The first one is exactly what we did in class last time. We had done a consumer behavior experiment where we used the theory of reciprocity. All of you had gone into a social media account that you had, and you went and liked a post, or you shared a post of someone's, or you started following someone that you hadn't before. And what we found is that 60% of the people who you had liked or followed or shared reciprocated that behavior back to you. That's exactly what we call the theory of reciprocity. As humans, we feel like we need to return a favor. If somebody buys you a gift, you feel like you need to buy them a gift back. If somebody makes you a nice meal or pays for your lunch, the next time you feel compelled to to reciprocate that kind gesture, to show them that you appreciate that. Well, we take that concept and we put that into a sales environment or a marketing environment. And one of the ways we do that is simply by giving you a free sample, getting you to try something. And oftentimes, particularly, you'll notice that if you're at a grocery store and you taste something, you're going through, and it's a Saturday, and they've got the sample section of cheese, and you taste it, you are far more likely to buy the product, not necessarily because it tastes good, but because you feel because they gave you something, you're going to buy something in return. The second is commitment. And commitment is when someone is engaged with you before, you are likely to stick with it over time. So we try to use the theory of commitment by using products over and over again, or getting you to establish a loyalty with our product or service so that you are committed to us like you would be committed to any relationship you have in your life. We often become brand loyal and committed to the products and services that perhaps our parents had, or that you've started using when maybe you got into a partnership with someone, or a relationship of some sort, or a marriage. You start to commit to paying and using that brand over and over again. So one of the major things that we do in marketing is try to get people to commit to you as if they were part of a relationship. The third, pack mentality, this is just more people who do something, the more likely others are doing it as well. And I will tell you, so you've all seen the lines at, the Black Friday sales, or if you hear, maybe a protest or something, people are more likely to join in if there's lots of people doing it. One of the things that I experienced when I first started becoming a professor was I went to a freshman Friday, so it's when all of the freshmen are on campus, and it was almost like a little trade show of lots of different community or businesses in the community came in and introduced themselves, and our business school had a booth there, so I was talking about the marketing major while I was there. And I found very interesting was right behind our table was the electronic scooter table. And there started to be a short line of people wanting to see what this was about. About 10 minutes later, this line was going all the way through this big ballroom. And I'm thinking, why are people waiting in line? So as the people were walking by my marketing booth, I'd ask them if, what are you interested? What are your majors? What do you like to do? What you're passionate about? And I said, why are you standing in this line? And most of the people in line said, we don't know. So they're sort of just following the pack. Something's got to be good if everybody's doing it. That's what that means. Then we have authority. Authority is used a lot, whether it is an Instagram influencer, somebody that is promoting a product or endorsing it. But what we do as humans is we like to figure out who the expert is in a particular situation. We're not just looking for any old Joe who's doing something, your average person using the product. If someone like a Tiger Woods is swinging a golf club, you might think twice about, well, I think I might believe that golf club is good. Or maybe a doctor is promoting or testimony on a particular product or service. So we listen and we believe those who have a sense of authority. The next one is liking. Now, liking is we as humans tend to like people who are like us. And if we have similarities to an image or a person that we enjoy, or someone, our friends, we are more likely to persuade somebody to buy that product. So you'll often see as you start to look at the types of advertising you're seeing, the posts that are coming up on your social media, the digital advertising that are using your particular behavioral digital footprint, and the attitudes and the behaviors and the personality that we know about you, you're going to start to see lookalikes, we call them. People like you, images like you, products you like, products that you've showed interested in, because we are more likely as humans to like people who are like us. Not necessarily a very inclusive, but particular type of persuasive technique, but it is something that is used today. Another one that we've all experienced recently in the last 6 months is the theory of scarcity. And scarcity is basically the fear of missing out, the fear of someone else is going to get it before I do. And we all experienced this after we were in lockdown or quarantine or stay at home orders, whatever the flavor is that you experienced when the grocery store shelves were empty. People had fear that there would not be enough. So hoarding happened and the aisles were empty. That is the theory of scarcity. What we do as marketers often is get our target audience to believe that they have to act now or it's going to be gone. Or if you're the first 500, you're going to get a free gift. Or maybe 8,000 people have already done this. Why haven't you? So it's very much about the fear of missing out. And scarcity is the Black Friday sales, the 24-hour buy one get one free. If you act now and you get the free gizmo with the knife set, all of those things that we see over and over, the reason why we do is because as people, as human beings, we are afraid. We have a fear that if we don't do this, we are going to lose out or some way or somehow will be harmed by this. So I want to show you a case study. I'm hoping it works. Some of you may have seen it if you've taken some of my other classes, but I want to show you a case study of Supreme. So Supreme is one of the most interesting streetwear brands that I followed for several years, and my youngest son is actually a collector. You will see in this video that there is a brick, and my son, one of his first Supreme gets was a brick when it was launched. So you'll get to see what this means. So basically what Supreme does, their business model is they have limited product releases. So the people who are in love with this brand, who believe that they want to be loyal, or it's actually created a secondary market, they will do whatever they can to get a hold of these things. And there's lots of different ways for whether people stand in line or they use some kind of computer bot to populate their checkout. But let's watch this particular video because I think it's a interesting one as it relates to the theory of scarcity. Act now, machine washable underwear. Sorry. So as you can see, this brand creates small runs. They have a huge following, but they continue to create small runs. And it's actually quite a brilliant marketing strategy because they are very close to keeping their brand whole, what they believed in. They keep the look and the feel and the simplicity toward that original target audience of the streetwear or the skaters that they um, they target. But they're really, as Jebbia has said, is it's a mission to keep the fashion affordable. But what's unique about Supreme is that it sells out in milliseconds. And can those people who really were their original target market be able to get the product that they wanted? So it has established a huge reseller secondary market where the brick that my son had and got for $30 sells for anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Last semester when we studied this case, it was on the day that the Supreme Oreo came out. And I had students at my 7 a.m. class and I had students at my 4 p.m. class. And we studied the increase in price of that Oreo. It started trading at about $50 at 7 a.m. and it was up into the tens of thousands at 4 o'clock. Obviously, there's probably a few people who will purchase that Oreo cookie at that price, but there's some who are. So remember that scarcity can be used in a number of different ways, and it's really wanting what a limited supply or a limited time frame that you can get something. So there's also some persuasion examples outside of Al Caldini's book. Some of them are very similar in name, but they take more of a marketing academic spin to it. Bandwagon is the need to belong. The everyone is doing it. 99 billion hamburgers sold. We're on Starbucks is on every corner in a city. It's that you need to belong. If you're not in the in crowd, it's not where you want to be. So that's called the bandwagon effect. Name calling is when one company points fingers at the other. So it's the, I don't know if you ever saw from the early 2000s when Macintosh took on the PC market, they would sort of poke fun at each other. And it's Sally Whopper, that's a Big Mac box. So you'll often see this in social media where you'll have one brand be cheeky. Wendy's does a good job at this, and they'll go after another brand and just sort of poke fun and name call at each other, different opposing views. Card stacking is when you demonstrate how good your product is or how superior your product is to another. So here we've got Oxy detergent, and they're actually going to show you a before and an after or a comparative of the product to its competitors. Here we have Verizon coverage. So you can see that Verizon is red all over the country and very little blue here. So sometimes we do that to demonstrate a point. We'll visually show you the difference. And then glittering is just all those beautiful things that we say are wonderful about our products. We're built tough. We're going to come out and tell you how quality are. We're creamy. We're dreamy. We use very flowery, positive adjectives to describe our brand. So in a nutshell, that is persuasion in a few examples of how you can use it in your marketing lives. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will